Good afternoon, everyone. This is Samuel Lombardo, the Executive Director and CEO of SL Models and Talent Agency, LLC, Suave Dance Studios, LLC, Alliance Publishing and Productions, LLC, and the V Smart Vocational School Models, Artists, and Radiant Talents. Unleash the artist within and let your light shine. And yes, today I am wearing what I should have been wearing all weekend, but today is actually somewhat of an off day for me, so I am casually designed with some beach design. So I'm wearing some beach wear today, not all the way down, but just at the top here, where I'm wearing more dressy clothes further down. But anyway, this video I want to define what a scam is. This is going to be a 2-hour block, special edition on what is a scam. How do you determine the difference between a scam and transparency? And also I want to bring in the guideline from the Council of the Better Business Bureau, right off of their own website. So what I'm going to do is share that with you, and then I'm going to share you my thoughts on what SLMTA is doing to conquer that issue. But I also want to plead with the individuals of explaining what SLMTA is doing and why we are different from other agencies, because it is a huge factor. Now, I'm not talking about the big brand agencies that are out there. I'm talking about specifically the ones that start up in a year or two and claim that they have 50 years of experience in the industry. And then when you research their name, you're trying to figure out what they have done back in 1967 and you can't find no information. That's basically what I'm talking about. Like, you can actually research me, and I might actually be underestimating my experience, but when I say that I have 15 years experience in the industry, I'm including the educational part of it, and I'm also including the horizon where I'm at today. But my business has actually started in, well, I registered it as a state LLC back in September of 2019. So under the state's review, it would literally be 1 year as of the 30th of this month. That's actually my physical year too for my business. Almost sounds familiar with U.S. government too, but that's how I have it set up that way. The date that I register is a date that I've actually set my physical year for, so then all my forms would be done appropriately. Thankfully, my EA was able to help with not having a penalty for this, because Schedule C's and tax returns were already supposed to have been done no later than July 15th, but my forms that they're specifically asking for, one isn't even due until January of 2021, and the other one I'm doing now only because it's the fiscal year, so I will now have that information. Now that's a different topic. We could discuss that another time, but I just wanted it to let you guys know that in this 2-hour special, we are going to examine what a scam is and what is not a scam. And without further ado, I want to start with the simple thing, and that is just going into the Webster Dictionary and looking up the word scam. We can see that it is a type of swindle. to swindle someone by means of a trick, right? Excuse me. Well, what is a swindle? A swindle is to cheat a person, business, or what have you out of money or other assets. It doesn't just have to be money. It could be everything from, like, in entertainment, you'd be surprised you could cheat people out of their own photographs to impersonate a person to try to get a gig to then ask someone for money and find out that that person is either not the same person or that they never show up. And really a swindle by definition is to obtain by fraud or deceit. So then what is deception? The act or practice of deceiving, concealment or distortion of the truth for the purpose of misleading, duplicity, fraud, cheating. An act or device intended to deceive, trick, or stagnate the quality of being deceitful, duplicity, and falseness. So we're talking about basically not being transparent. Now, let's figure out what not being transparent means. Now, we know that deceitfulness is one thing. I'm going to do a quick improv of what transparency is. Okay, I want you to see the transparency in this. Welcome to SL Models and Talent Agency, where you can let your light shine and unleash the artist within. We are here to help build your brand of your artistry and your modeling. We are here to book you, and we have a team that could help tour contracts state specifically this, that the agency has a 20% agency fee and that the agents receive 10% from the artist's work. The agency is seeking the Better Business Bureau accreditation at this time, and therefore, when it has been approved, we will further assist you in letting you know. In the meantime, our utmost importance is integrity, transparency, safety, confidence, accountability, administration, and the focus is on you as a person. We do not have a school. However, the owner, meaning me, I actually have started a vocational school for model, artists, and radiant talent. And there we have a partnership or a collaboration with SL Models and Talent Agency LLC to establish the Career Center to develop portfolios, to develop resume, to get your bio together, and then if obviously you can sign into the agency. There are no fees in the agency to be signed, nor do you have to go to school at the VSMAR in order to be signed by the booking agency. However, the booking agency, we are a national, international, known agency for booking and touring purposes, and therefore, we would need to see a portfolio, a resume, and some kind of biography that shows who you are, references, and that there is experience. Do we accept new faces? Yes and no. If the new face seems to have the potential, we will do whatever we can in our power to go ahead and establish a relationship with client. And some of those relationships may be non-paid jobs in the beginning. Why? Because it's a win-win situation. Here's the win-win situation. SL Models and Talent Agency LLC can get new beginning models out there to shoot a portfolio shoot of new design from different fashion artists, fashion designers, while also communicating and branding their design. So you come home with a portfolio that we actually could see. You're getting the training by default because they are showing you what needs to be done in the shoot. But because they are saving the money and they're able to do a shoot, it lets you come home with something and they also get something in return. So we like to collab for new faces. The purpose for vocational school of models, artists, and radiant talent is just simply an inexpensive way to bring new faces that would otherwise want to utilize the performing arts or entertainment industry as a way or lead into the industry, rather than trying to assume that we are going to guarantee them bookings through the program. It is a rigorous program that allows you the opportunity of great success in the end, just like any other school. However, it is not an opportunity for you to be signed. You would already be signed by the agency, whether you're a new face or an old face in the industry. The school is just an inexpensive way to establish what you would have in college and universities, but you would probably rather use your college and university for some other study while either studying with us, or have maybe decided that you don't want to go and spend thousands of dollars in a university to get another bachelor's degree. So then you take training with us so that you would be able to expand your horizons into the entertainment industry. So that is the two goals of the actual vocational school of models, artists, and radiant talent. Now, that whole 5 to 10 minute introduction is literally what SL Models and Talent Agency is all about. But we want to alert individuals that because we collaborate with our own school, vocational school, models, artists, and radiant talent, that it is its own business and has no affiliation to SL Models and Talent Agency LLC, even though that I am the executive director for both programs. So I want to be extremely transparent. Even with the Suave Dance Studios LLC, I've noticed that on our website, that's one of the things that are going to change. Our website is strictly going to be anything relating to events with the agency, to the agency as itself as a booking and touring company. Will we have coaching available? Absolutely. For the new faces, we would. But the coaching wouldn't necessarily have to come from me. It could come from the clients who are looking for new faces to showcase their new fashion designs in a pro bono way that will allow them to brand, while at the same time the model can start getting his or her portfolio shoots. So it saves the middleman from doing a whole lot of nothing, but trying to get money off the top, if that makes sense. That is one of the biggest differences between SL models and talent agency and any agency, probably even including some of the agencies that's been around a while. And why am I saying that? Because it's a new thing. Like, part of our fashion design division, now we do have divisions too. Our fashion design division accepts all. Now, we're going to be setting up a whole separate business. I hadn't even mentioned this part of it because we're in the beginning phases of it, but Mazzofiato Moda Fashion is going to be in the fashion design division of SL Models and Talent Agency, but the difference between the division for the agency is that we're there to build the brand of these different designs and then utilizing models. But Mazzofiato Moda is actually going to be its own highlight. It's basically going to be like Vogue, okay, where these new fashion designers will get a chance to showcase their design through the Moda magazine that we will be developing. But we are going to have to start a separate business again, and it will actually end up being called the Moda Casting Agency, or Mazzofiato Moda Casting Agency. I hadn't figured it out. Or it may just be called M&M Casting Agency. But once I figure that part out, it will be a casting agency that will work hand in hand with the fashion design division of SL Models and Talent Agency LLC. Another thing that I need to bring to your attention before I move forward in our 2-hour block here is that SL Models and Talent Agency LLC actually knows the difference between a designer and a model. It's just strictly English 101. A designer is someone that designs, that creates something. The model is the one that basically showcases the design. But I will hear it from some agencies that will literally say, we are looking at building brands. Well, what are brands? I'm going to just, I'm sorry to do this, but I'm going to actually do this right here, right in front of you. What are brands? The kind, grade, or make of a product or service as indicated by a stamp, trademark, or the like. Wait a minute. Let me repeat that. The kind, grade, or make of a product or service as indicated by a stamp, trademark, or the like. For example, the best brand of coffee. So when I hear, or it could just simply be to label or mark with or as if with a brand. To mark with, indicate kind, grade, make, ownership, etc. Let me explain to you why some agencies like to use that term. It's actually implied that they want to take ownership of you, and anything that it is that is within you belongs to them. Folks, SL Models and Talent Agency LLC has a trick for that one. You want to know why? Because we know copyright law, we know trademark law, we know contract law 101, and therefore, before getting hooked up with anybody, even if they are a new agency that are saying, we could build your brand, you want to make sure that you are copyrighted for whatever it is. Now, you're probably wondering, well, they just building me up as a model. Well, is a model a brand? There's tangible and intangible here. The tangible part, obviously, is the person that is utilizing the formation of, and guys, this even goes for, like, if you're a big business, like JCPenney's, Macy's, Door, and H&M, or even Vogue. When you sit there and you sign an agreement that basically says, well, my brands are coming in and I build them up, and you're signing that contract, basically what you're saying is that while we're the ownership of our clothing line, I'm implying that there is this build-up coming from this model who's going to portray this fashion line. But if we really want to simplify it, you wouldn't really be building brands unless you are actually telling me that they are trademarked somehow of some kind of design that they have created, that these big name stores are actually accepting their sketches or their portfolio of design work. But if you're asking them for the designs, meaning asking them for their clothing and asking them for then what you're doing is you're showcasing a brand, not building a brand. There's a difference. Showcasing brands are basically showcasing the trademark, the mark, the establishment of some type of brand out there, and you utilize your models that are appropriate for these specific brands. Oh, man. It's just simple English, folks, but sometimes we get tired and we don't realize, what is actually really happening, and this is the truth. So I wouldn't be building, well, actually, we have a right to say that we are trying to establish and build brands. Why? Because we have a division in the fashion design that actually allows people to bring designs in to see whether or not these other brands would want to buy into their designs. Therefore, building up a brand, and they get a trademark on it, so we can provide the paperwork that actually shows that there was a brand being formed. Be courageous, folks, because this is the truth of the day. Do not believe brands unless you have something that will brand. Meaning, I'm saying it in a real precise way that is in the right context of the English language. The kind, grade, or make of a product or service as indicated by a stamp, trademark, or the like. Now, the model does provide a service. The service is that if the model, he or she, would be able to showcase designs on their bodies as a role model to the market. And therefore, you need the right precise look, body fixtures, smiles, classiness, etc., to fit the design brand. But how would you be able to stamp, trademark, or do anything a model? Now, one of the ways that you do it when you're developing fan pages is you have let's say, okay, like my name is Samuel Lombardo, but I could say that my name is Joan Roberts as a stage name, and then put, Joan Roberts official to Instagram, but I would have to official it. Well, I can't official something that's not really me. So now it becomes that I have this stage name and people are thinking, well, is this person trying to trick me into what their real name is or what have you? But there are some times where you will see that where someone goes by a stage name on their Instagram, but their official is actually their name. Because the way that I understand how Instagram works is to be able to make the Instagram official as a public figure, you have to actually show that you are who you say you are. And then provide the proof, like they give you a secured link that you have to actually show identity and all this. So I may not be Joan Roberts, but I would have to prove to them that that is my stage name and that everybody believes that that's who I am on the stage. And then I can make it official. So you have to know how to do that. But is that still a brand? Just because you have a stage name? No. But here's an example of a brand. A brand would be like a music artist coming in, and he or she is asking the producer to produce their, their songs or whatnot, and therefore there's a copyright. Okay, there's a copyright, there's a production right, there's a mechanical license, there's performance rights, there's this rights and that right. Okay, at that point, just you doing a copyright starts the branding process. So then you can say, yeah, I'm building a brand. Why? Because you're building it up. It's not completed. Okay, so you did a copyright, but you didn't necessarily finish the brand. The brand would be what is out there. Now you can use models in a way that could brand, and models doesn't necessarily have to always be someone that's walking down a runway. Some folks, some agencies specialize in fashion runway only. And I will tell you, as time goes on, that could start to dwindle a bit. Just read some of the articles coming from Vogue. It could be a very upsetting scenario. Is it still viable? Yes. runway fashion is there. Is everybody focused just on that? Not necessarily, not in these days. So, when you say that you're building up a brand, then what you're basically saying, or what you're promising to these people, and it is implied, but it's also a sure lie, unless you're actually able to do it and you have contacts to do it. And that would be that there are people who are designers looking to get this stuff on the outside. Well, the way I look at it is, if I can help a designer to get their stuff on the outside, and we have models that fit perfectly what they're looking for, either he or she, to fit those designs, there's a big chance that I could call JCPenney's, Macy's, H&M, Vogue, or whatnot, and have them just sit there in the audience to observe the designers that we do have, looking at their portfolios, while at the same time, if there's actually anything done, we would have models basically walking up the runway of the different fashion styles. At that point, the brand is being formed, so now we have a building block of an actual brand. So, if you are using models for brands that are already out there, then in your interpretation to the world, you want to use the terms, English 101, showcasing brands, unless you actually have the means to build up a brand. There is no such thing as building. Now, you could build models, but you're going to have to really prove to me your definition of the model being a brand, because I'm used to the fact, now you can build, your situation could be the brand, meaning that you showcasing brands out there and building models up is a brand of your work. But you're not building up brands, you're showcasing them. The only brand that you could build up is yours, meaning what services you provide, and that it actually matches with what you're trying to do, and that it is consistent with everything that you're doing. Meaning your slogan. You need to have a very good, appealing logo. You need to have a clear message, a vision, a mission, goals, objectives. SL Models and Talent Agency LLC has all that. We are prepared. We are pretty much ready. We just have to define what this scam is, because there are a lot of issues that are going on out there, and I want to let you know, do you really have to shove money out to do certain things? No. Now, if you're showcasing, I want to bring this up, because we are in a collaboration with many showcases and conventions. There you will actually have to invest a little bit in. But there's a huge goal behind that. The goal is that these places are going to be your outsource guide. What I don't like about some of these conventions, though, is the pricing and how they seek memberships. And I don't know about a particular agency if they actually charge agencies to come out and pick the talent. But that's what SL Models and Talent Agency wants to do. We are not going to prepare anybody because we're not a school. If you're looking for a school to actually prepare somebody, then go to an international company, incorporated, or go to a specific coach. Could we have coaches available at SLMTA? Yes and no, but even still, will there be charges? No, because a lot of these clients, they already know that their goal is that they want their brands built. So they will do whatever it takes. They know that there's an investment. So the person that's actually going to do the work is the model for whatever agreement shows up in there. So I can see that if you're going to have competitions, that there would be a fee or whatnot. Like I said, when I started Artist Gala is its own thing, and we have it as a non-profit with the physical sponsor being Fractured Atlas. But why do we say it's sponsored by SLMTA? Because 35% of the sponsorship comes from us and what we are doing. But we are in no way financially obligated. We are in no way taking money from it or anything in that regard. It is what it is. And then we have, staff members that we would be able to run the program with. And yeah, they get paid, but they already know how they're getting paid, like recruiters and judges and etc. for this. Well, that's the same way with the convention. The conventions are usually separate from any association. So, for example, I could say that I am the International Guild of Performing Artists, but that I want to start an Artist Gala convention, and it could be in New York and it could be in LA. Well, the convention is a sponsor the association is a sponsor to the convention. That's fine. Now, there are some issues, like I was reading some of this stuff about like franchising and whatnot, and that you can only do this and you can only do that. A lot of it is because you're trying to condense a lot of the fraudulent crap that is going on that I've been talking about for the past, I want to say, 2 to 3 weeks. But if you actually follow through what we are saying, we're trying to give you the opportunity that you can actually make money in the business doing it the correct way and knowing what business you want to open. In most cases, some of you may have to reconfigure your business as a whole to know if it's actually an agency, a school, or if it's a coaching career center or whatever it may be. Now, booking agencies normally do not, legit ones such as SLMTA, do not charge fees for anything. Now, if we are in collaboration with showcases and conventions and things like that, yes, we will bring up those scenarios, but that is the one guideline that is keeping me away from becoming unionized, and I think really needs to be reconsidered if they hear me out, because what SL Models and Talent Agency LLC is trying to do is 2 things. One is the actual union that we're going to be forming is going to help initiate opportunity for all realms of the entertainment industry because things are changing now. We're in a different norm, unfortunately, than what it was before. And the internet is really building up, okay? So we really have to get our guard up and actually know what is going on. The old way doesn't work. We have to figure a new way out. So, the only thing that really hurts SL Models and Talent Agency LLC in trying to be a franchisee company is the fact that we are providing the opportunity to conventions and showcases that are actually legit. The only thing that I basically say about these showcases and conventions is that they remodel their structure. A lot of them are for profit and are making way too much profit. Others that are nonprofit should know exactly how to get the sponsors and maybe develop a membership plan rather than hitting them with a big bill and say, yeah, okay, so we're going to train you for $9,000 and then it will include $3,000 in it. No, it shouldn't be that way. It should be a membership directly from the convention. That will allow them to attend the convention. It could even be used in a similar way as to a guild rather than a union. Because then that actually would be a different face of what the unions are looking at. Because right now, what they see is these convention centers claiming that they have all of these big brands out there. So for me to get involved even with a convention, I would basically have to ask them, can you give me 10 of your top references right now and the person whom I could speak to before I go out there, even to observe? Because I want to be sure that IMG is there or that Ford's is there. Or are you just throwing these names out there as a list and it's like, because all I gotta simply do is call IMG or Ford's Models and be like, do you know anything about like so-and-so convention that happens semi-annually or annually? Some may actually, because I've already done it, some may actually say, well, I could send you to the director of the modeling agency, and then I have to wait a week for them to return my call. Then I find out that there is no real actual connection. What's even worse is the fact that if I ended up going out there to observe and find out, I'm expecting to see 4 big things: Vogue, IMG, Wahim, and Ford's. Because I'm seeing it in their commercial. It's listed as all these agencies all the way down as the video keeps moving on and on and on. But if I can't see these 4 there, it's like, okay, that's 4 tries. Usually 3 strikes and you're out with me. I gave you 4 tries, and I'm actually looking to see where I can actually connect with 4 big agencies. But you're saying they're there at the convention. Where are they at? I'd like to speak to the director or an agent that represents the agency. That is the main reason why I think that unions have an issue with some of these conventions. And some of them are just flat out, straight up scams. They will turn around and say, oh yeah, Artist Today Agency LLC and All Stars LLC and all of that. So then you go there and you see somebody that is like in jeans and a t-shirt, or maybe even like me, because I don't dress like this when I do in professional business. So I dress like this casually because I'm on a video, I'm in a home office right now, and even when I do go out to meet with people, I want to dress professionally. And when I'm out doing my open calls, I also do my professional looks. So I feel that the craziness of not having any fees whatsoever versus not having any connections to any people that relate fees, because they have such strict guidelines. And when I say strict, what I'm basically saying is you can't even get with a union even if you are trying to do what is right and still provide the opportunity. And it really scares me, especially in this day and age. Just not really about competition no more. It's about collaboration. And if you can't collab, you may end up having, you may be having some issues where there's going to be some really bad issues relating to agencies. Now, am I saying that agencies should have fees? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if you're going to start a convention within your agency, the convention should be a separate business, and it should be tailored around membership. Really, a lot of these should be 501c6s or C3s, depending on the scenario. The difference between C3s and C6s is that you can at least have some more of a profit, where C3s you really cannot. You cannot go past a certain threshold. Therefore, you have to do something with the funding, or you have to reapply it. You could reapply it, but then don't expect anything more or less the next year. So there's a little bit more complication with a C3, whereas a C6 is kind of like a for-profit where you can hold some profits in it, but it's non-profit in the sake of that stakeholders cannot take any money from it. That's what the difference is. And it wouldn't be an LLC because of that. But now, under the state regulations and the Council of Better Business Bureaus, as well as Consumer Affairs and Regulated Business, it does state that you can have a for-profit business and have a non-profit sector. So in other words, what I'm saying is SL Models and Talent Agency LLC does have a nonprofit SL Models and Talent Association, which basically is the nonprofit sector for unions and signatories of franchising, so agencies that are legit, that are following the guidelines of SLMTA. But if I were to go and try to explain, I would have to explain this to like SAG-AFTRA or AEA or, you know, DMA or whatever the case may be, because there is some confusion there. Why? Because there are actual fees, but I'm not booking anybody in that. This is a membership type program. And it has the same acronyms as SL Models and Talent Agency. Why? Because of the association. It actually associates, affiliates, and it actually debars any type of scam or any kind of illegal, fraudulent embezzlement, whatever, from the entertainment industry. And we expand it even to our other programs, such as, now we do have an event that is literally a separate thing. It's for SL Models and Talent Agency LLC, but it's an event that now we are thinking that SL Models and Talent Association would end up taking presence on it. So we're going to have to amend the contract with DeVos Place. And why is that? Because then our sponsorships will actually understand that we are actually utilizing our monies appropriately for the association. And what these monies are used for, because we're actually going to be doing a live, televised, live stream online, press released award show during the Masquerade Ball. And we want to get involved with the Grammys and the Oscars and etc. to find the people that we want to come out there under a VIP package. And I'm not talking about them spending for it either. I'm talking about they would actually get in free of charge and have their travel and hotel already done. And then they would get the award that goes with it. We have the trophies, a certificate. So we're going to have cash prize, cash awards, type of thing for what we are doing. And they will be presented professionally. I will be having a host there that will be able to do that. That will not be done by me, although I will introduce it. And it's going to be an odd ribbon cutting, because what we are going to do at this live Masquerade Ball is we're actually going to cut the ribbon there. We figured it would be a better opportunity to do so, and that most of the staff members and or new staff members and the models and affiliates and collabs that want to show up will all be there to see this actually happening. So yes, if you are a collab with SL Models and Talent Agency LLC, I hope that you guys find my my event page and actually register in. Now, we can talk about discounts on the pro models as well with our collabs. And you know who you are when I mention that. And there are payment plans available. So, and if I were you, I would try to take advantage of the VIP packages if very possible. We will be having pop artists there. We may actually, it's two of them actually, and we may be adding another artist as well. Things are actually just moving along. We are also going to be doing showcases. So there will be some runway scenarios and things like that happening. And the only way that this event will take place is if we are 100% out of the COVID-19, meaning that August 15, 2021 will allow such an event as this, because we will be expecting thousands of people to show up, even with the pricing that it is. And that was why we actually had to do the price that way, because we knew, we just knew it was going to be a big hit. I've already got 100 people signed up. So there is money to bank on in regards to this event. We got vendors coming out. I'm going to be sending a lot of emails, but that's a whole nother topic. I'm straying away. I just want to let you know that we are actually holding a big event, and we would actually like to have the unions. In fact, I'm even finding union directors and executives and whatnot, because the plan is that I will be emailing them a VIP free pass to go. I want them to actually come out and observe what we are doing, and that we are in no way, shape, or form being exactly like any other agency that they would actually agree to sign in. But we want them to actually see it. And also, our after party will be at the Chamber of Commerce, but we're going to work out those details. And I think 1,000 tops could fit in that building, and it will be on a Monday. So we might have to see how that's going to work, because if they have to close a lot of stuff off for the after party to happen, our after party might have to be after their hours. I don't know how it's going to work yet. These are all details that I'm trying to work with them, but I have to figure out how to get a hold of them, because there were messages and that I was messaging. I want to also find the convention centers and allow the executives of all the convention centers out. I have tried to collaborate with other agencies, but some agencies had gotten it confused with what I was actually trying to say and making it look like it was what I said, and they were two different things. Like I cannot say that I'm a member of any type of convention or any kind of anything at all without having the backing that there is an actual membership in there. So I know that that is part of being legal as well, and not defrauding and fake impersonating people. So I was really confused by some situations, but nevertheless, I'm the type of person that says, you know what, I'm an opportunist, and I want them to see how real we actually are. So, you know, I will give you a VIP ticket, and you will have a hotel room, okay? And then it will be up to you if you want to accept it or not. Now, who wouldn't want to accept a free VIP pass? Come on now. And I only do this with the executives with particular agencies, especially relating to conventions, or like the executive of SAG and AFTRA, or executive of AEA or whatnot. I do that to give them the opportunity. Now, if there are other people of their team that would like to go or whatnot, we could do a discounted rate on the ticket. It's for the same format. I'm just letting you know that VIP packages only go for 500 people. So, and right now I know of at least, I'm actually at least using my 5 collabs for 5 specific individuals. And that would be, you know, what I'm looking at doing. And I'm just going to leave it there. Now, there may be more, but I'm just saying, there are some things I cannot have a handout for, and that is that I cannot hand out VIPs like that, because the reason that it is $1,600 is because I'm literally taking that money to pay for hotels, 5-star hotels, that is, that's right near the event, and then I'm going to be paying out the gazoot for travel. And we are willing to work in any way for the travel, but when it comes to rental cars, it would be only 50% of that plus the gas. Because we know how expensive that can get depending on the party that's attending and all of that. Yeah, so there is so much happening, and the reason for the prices for the vendor to be so much isn't because it's in a convention center. It's because I'm actually taking a piece of that to take care of the hotel room for you. So that's why it's important for you guys to actually register like a month beforehand so that I know how many rooms to already book, because I'm going to have them do a stop sale on those for the 3 days I'm talking about, which would actually be um, Friday night, Saturday night. Now, Saturday night is when you would be setting up, and then Sunday. Or no, wait a minute. Saturday night, yeah, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and then checking out on Monday. And right now we're trying to figure out exactly the right way of doing the after party. So that's where we're at with that. And you would be staying at the luxurious, lovely place of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Really only right down the road from Little Broadway, which is a Broadway type theater in downtown Grand Rapids. So there's a whole lot that goes on there. That's the home of the art prize as well, which we are actually we are signing up for, and we have 100 curators who are interested in participating in arts prize just with SLMTA alone. So I'm excited for that as well. And art prize, yeah, it has a price. I mean, I sorry to say it that way, but that's why I said some things I just wonder if they need to be tweaked when it comes to regulation. I think it needs to be that when they do a site visit, that not only are they so worried about an office, but that they are there visiting the office, seeing what contracts they have and how they actually do business. Because some things you do have to invest in. If you're actually going to dictate, do not do this, do not do that, and you're making 10%, then that limits it really to very little of anything. And I do research some of these places that are franchises, and I can see where they are getting away with specific things. So what I'm actually thinking about doing is actually doing that. One of the scenarios would actually be having a sub-agent, just in case if there's any issues with the agency, because of the things that we have that bring opportunity. But the sub-agent would strictly be in charge of union contracts. So that would probably be the only way that I could see that working when it comes to that. And that will be until SLMTA union is established, because we are going to be establishing within the next few years. The goal is 3. We're going to have a very good, precise board. And that leads us to these stipulations right now that I want to talk about. I want to talk about what are the specific examples of scams first. And then I'm going to take it from there and I'm going to give you an example of an entertainment-related scam. That you're going to find very empowering. And then I'm going to give you the information from the Better Business Bureau themselves. And all these links will be down below so that you can actually read them for yourself. So first, coming from nt.gov/crime/scams/10-most-common-types-of-scams. 10 most common types of scams. Find out the 10 most common types of scam in the Northern Territory. Now, this would also include us here in the United States. So don't ignore this because it's dealing with, AU. Number 1, advance fee fraud. A scammer requests fees up front or personal information in return for goods, services, money, or rewards that they never supply. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. When it comes to the entertainment industry, what that means is you say that you have pro models, right? Let's say that you're a new agency that is developing models and you've been doing photo shoots left and right, packages galore, right? But then you want to do a collaboration with a business. Well, the scam with the business is we want to know about you even though that we're giving confidential information. And then the reality is that while you're thinking that you're collabing to sign pro models, you realize that they are actually part of the team that is regulating some of the stuff that you're actually reading in the doctrines from the agency. That's actually more scarier than the originality that the person claims to have pro models, but then you get them involved into something and it's like you realize something is wrong. And believe me, when I'm a judge at a convention, I'm really looking for a lot of things and I could be extremely picky. I'm looking at attractiveness, I'm looking at sassiness, I'm looking at activeness, I'm looking at the smiles, I'm looking at their walks, their poise, their posture. I'm looking at everything, and even the 1 minute that you slip on a heel and then you look up and you look scared, it's a major no-no for me, even though I know that it's a mistake. Why? Because you can hold that mistake to a potential of something. That's where improv comes in. Don't make it look like your heel actually fell off, even if you got to walk barefoot. But there are agencies out there that will literally say, I have pro models, you can sign them and blah, blah, blah. And you give them the information to them to be able to sign them. But then when you're waiting for the collab report to come back, it's the biggest red flag is it's everything about them and about nobody else. And now it turns out to be that so-and-so, like Sue, Paul, and Tom, are actually employees of the agency who are also pro models to be signed. Now, I don't really care about if there are employees in the agency. The real question is going to be that when they are signed, are they going to be able to handle both jobs? And that it will be under the stipulations of SLMTA criteria. Now, what does that technically mean? It basically means that while I am collaborating, the collaboration has to be under legal documentation. I don't mean that it has to be under a contract and I'm signing. No, what I mean is that it's in the fairness of both agencies. Therefore, if you're going to claim yourself to be an agent from that agency, then any fees that are associated with SLMTA are SLMTA, and you will be taking your contracts with your artist. Now, any real artist knows that that is a way to do it. But a pro model that is looking to be scrimmaged by another agency, and I hate to say this, but brainwashed into their doctrine, would literally, honestly be mistaken for any real actual opportunity that is out there. Why? Because of the simple fact being that they see it as this is the guidelines for our agency and we are afraid that we're going to end up losing you, or whatever the case may be. There's that fear, again, that I talked about 4, 5, 6 videos ago. The fear factor. Well, any real person would actually know that the artist needs to negotiate with the agent, with the agency that is booking them. It is their criteria to do what they are doing. And when you have a collaboration, and I know I sound like a repeated monkey right here, right now, but when you have a collaboration, the collaboration doesn't say that one agency is in charge of another agency. The collaboration is supposed to be a mutual benefit between all peoples involved, where they would actually mutually benefit with whatever is being collaborated. So if the goal was to make it look like you were doing a collaboration just to have your personal agenda, to say, oh, I got them, this is what they want, now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to initiate our rules and regulations. Well, now we have a problem, because that is not where the collaboration was. That's not where the agreement was. You know what I mean? So you have to know what it is that you are speaking about. And that's why I'm reading this advanced fee fraud. A scammer requests fees up front or personal information in return for goods, services, money, or rewards that they never supply. So what is the guarantee that any agency has a pro model that you have never actually seen doing anything? Even if it doesn't necessarily mean that you are intentionally scamming, you are unintentionally defrauding other people by saying that you have something available that perhaps you do not have. And I'm talking generally. When I say you, I'm speaking generally to all agencies that may be functioning this way. So you could either block me, ignore me, or do whatever you want to do, but I'm just giving you the heads up that this is the problem with the union, where the people that, because there has been a lot of defrauding going on with big artists, and really my big goal is to actually have some pro artists on my roster. And the one way I'm going to do this is to get rid of the garbage of the wannabe statuses and get into being real. And I cannot stress this any more than what I'm already doing. I'm finding articles left and right to help you understand how to become a legitimate business if you're going to be a booking agency. Otherwise, do not tell a booking agency how to do its job on a collaboration that has nothing to do with booking. Or don't tell any other agency how their artists are going to do things, or however these are, I gotta continue reading this article so that you can see what I'm talking about. Scammers invent convincing and seemingly genuine reasons for requesting payment, such as to cover fees or taxes. They often ask for payment by international wire transfer. Now, this article, mind you, is not a U.S. article, but it works both ways. Like, I've had agencies in the international level who literally would actually turn around and try to tell me, oh, you can send it to like here. And I would be like, send what to where? All I have to do is give you an SLMTA agreement or fact sheet. We have agreements to sign our audit, and it is the stipulation under SLMTA. And therefore, what SLMTA does is one thing. Now, here's another problem that I have noticed about agencies, and this is something with some collaborations that I'm working with right now that I need you to pay very close attention to, because it is a legal issue. I want you to be very careful with this. And that is, I'm going to just use this as an example, All Stars Showcase Arena, LLC. All Stars Showcase Arena, LLC is a part of All Stars Agency, LLC. And the collaboration is thus, as says, that you cannot have, the collaboration is, we're going to pay you a 5% commission or a 25% commission for everyone that you bring to our showcase. But because we're going to pay you something, here are the stipulations. You cannot claim them as your model for signing because they are part of All Stars Agency, LLC. And you may not be able to do any business within a, say, 1,000-mile radius. There's two things wrong with that. First of all, your mile radius is outrageous. 1,000 miles, 500, 250. Doesn't make any sense, because then that even means that I could not even bring an opportunity to say someone that's 200 miles away that is starting out and want to provide legitimate success to their artists as well. And therefore, it's like, if it's not for you, it's for nobody. That's literally what that is saying, even though it looks like just one little stipulation. And then the other problem is the fact that why is All Stars Showcase Arena subjugated by All Stars Agency? One or two reasons. Either that it is literally not legitimate and it's part of the actual agreement to get artists signing into the modeling agency, or they just flat out didn't realize that they had to sign up and get a new business registration for a showcase. Either way, the showcase is illegal. Why? Because you don't have the right documentation to do it. You don't even know if you need a license to actually hold that. Most places that are actually holding conventions, say like in Atlanta, Chicago, LA, New York, they know that they need licenses to do what they are doing. Because they got all kinds of people in there. They got producers, they got agents, they got managers, they got designers, they got everything, and they are convincing that everything is there. And therefore, they have to be bonded also to the state, bonded probably to the convention center that they are in. I mean, that's me. I got to show my insurance, put them in as a third individual to my insurance thing, and actually for DeVos Place. It's all legit that SLMTA is doing. We are actually doing what is right. What I'm telling you is right business, and I'm also telling you what you need to look at to make sure that you are doing legal business. And so, if the showcase is going to be rendering the agency, then we got a huge problem. And that could literally imply that it's a scam agency, even if it's unintentional. Why? Because showcases are different from actually booking talent, even though you may be thinking in your own way that you're actually booking this talent into the showcase. So how could you say the showcase is separate from your agency, but you're dictating to the collaborators that it is an association to the agency, and therefore the only way you could bring models to do anything, even with your agency, is if it benefits that other agency. You cannot do that. It's illegal. But it's a way that a fraudster would actually do it, to try to convince someone that it's something that it's not. So if you want to be real, then be real. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know everybody in the industry and that I know everything about the industry. But I also know that I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't know the legalities. I've studied this for a long time. And when it comes to the legality of business, you better make sure that you have your ducks in a row, because I don't care how much you know about makeup, beauty, or how to walk or whatever. Things can really go down sour instantaneously. So that's where I'm getting at. I want people to understand that SL Models and Talent Agency LLC is running as a real agency, and that there is no scamming going on here, and that I'm well aware of every single trick in the book, even when clients try to tell me, oh, we will do this, we're going to do that, and collaborators that say it looks like this, but then you actually see the agreements and it's looking like something else. Do not cause yourself confusion. You must get it right. Okay, continuing on. These scams are commonly mass marketed, with scammers sending them out to thousands of people all over the world at the same time, usually by mail or email. Now, this is another scenario. I'm willing to collaborate with any agency that's out there, but let me make myself clear. Agency to agency is one thing. Partner to agency is another thing. Convention and showcases to agency is another thing. They are three separate agreements. And therefore, before I can actually agree to send emails out to the databases of SLMTA, I need to make it clear that I'm not going to sit there and be giving away my clientele or my artists and models to an agency by using the rough patch of showcasing as an excuse for the collaboration. And therefore, I'm very peculiar with that, and I say that they must be multiple agreements. Why? Because agency to agency is this. It's usually a partnership. Not a partnership for the ownership of company, but it's a mutual benefit that basically states that SL Models and Talent Agency LLC will book all-star agency talent, and that all-star agency actually understands the responsibility of negotiating the agent amount to the artist. If it's a real agency, they would already have that marked up with the artist. Now, what happens with the agency fee? Is between the agency partnership, meaning that's not the responsibility to the partnered agent to the agency. And then the collaboration would actually be, but it has to be its own business. Therefore, I would need to know, does All Star Showcasing have a state registration or something for their showcases to happen yearly? If not, is there a nonprofit sector of the agency? Is there some other business name? But it cannot be within the agency. It must be its own resource. And then when it comes to the competition, then I can say, oh, I cannot have a convention within 250 miles that relate to the convention with this showcase. That's a different story. So I could still go and seek models, and I could still go and sign them, and I could still have my own models from wherever, from Delaware, North Carolina, or wherever. It doesn't matter. And that relationship would actually be so much better, more easier to understand, and actually a whole lot less complicated. If you agree with me, comment down below. I would be very interested in knowing your comments. The second one, this may not be so much to do with artists and models and or agencies and unions, but let's go ahead and I'm going to just read them out to you. So that's a lottery, sweepstakes, and competition scams. Actually, it may have to do a little bit with agencies, especially when it comes to showcases. If the agency is running the showcase in a way that that's a step to get signed, we got a problem. Because right here it actually states that it is a scam-like scenario. In other words, and this isn't even a showcase, okay? This is more or less just an event that we're having that requests that we were looking to give rewards to, or awards to, excuse me, and certificates and crowns. Well, the SLMTA Live Red Carpet Masquerade Ball and Expo, we cannot say that you must attend that to get signed. However, if someone shows up there, I could actually, if I wanted to scout out, I could be like, I would like to collaborate with you. That's a little bit of a different scenario. Why am I saying that? Because of the fact being that they made the choice to go out there and they know what they're going there for. They're going there to have fun, but to find out that they're going to get picked up, or that they have some kind of sense that they're getting scouted, that's a whole nother ball game. And agencies have scouts all the time. 9 times out of 10, fake agencies will try to promise fake pay to scouts, when in reality the scouts could either be those who are incorporated with the company already, or you yourself as the agent or / executive director. But you don't need to be hiring 150 scouts to go scout out talent because you don't have the time to do it. To then go and bribe them into here 1 hour of nothing but, you know, it's a fee for this, a fee for that, and a fee for that, and this and that, and the other thing. Even if you were to break it down into pieces and say, okay, so you're going to register for this, it's $75, and then they register, and then you give them like a 3-page pamphlet, and it says, oh my God, okay, so now I owe another $500 and something. No, you have to be transparent up front. There is no such thing as, and I'm not saying this for individuals who are afraid of giving free passes. I'm going to do another video on that. I'm talking about you must be up front that it is going to cost this much to actually be in the showcase. Not sit there and try to be like, oh, it's only $75 to register. And then if they register, good. So now you slam them with, oh, by the way, here's the bill. And another thing when it comes to fraud is fundraising. So is your showcase a nonprofit? I could show you ways how you can make a nonprofit if you hadn't done it soon enough with a physical sponsor. But if it's not nonprofit, then how are you going to expect people to give donations to potential talent to showcase? Come on, folks, you got to know the legal language of business. You can get sponsors, but I'm also going to be very front and blunt with this too. Donations are deductible. Sponsorships are not. Businesses know how to write that stuff off though. Because when they say that they are giving money and that they have sponsored to, it's a different type of language in tax law than it is if you're simply just giving a donation. But you wouldn't give a donation to a person, you would be giving it to the nonprofit. The nonprofit would then divvy it up equally with those who are competing. Also, is the price valuable enough? Not because you're looking to bank or the collaboration's looking to bank, but is it valuable enough to the artist that it's actually going to really do what it says? Because when it comes to tax law, then you have the issue with, did you have more sponsorships that was able to pay up those who were in the showcase? Why is there a charge if there was enough already to pay out, and the actual amount is now being profitable and it's gone way past the market value? What do I mean by that? Let's just say you had one big sponsor and you brought that person in and they paid $500,000. Could that $500,000 legitimately be able to pay your staff, the collaborators, and the people involved in the showcase, as well as the ones that are like the audience, and still be profiting from it? Because one thing about SLMTA is that you're going to have to prove financials to actually prove that legitimately you're able to withhold what you're saying that you're doing. Why? Because if I see in the tax law that you have all these profits, but you're charging above market value for people to actually perform, that becomes embezzlement and deceit to fraud as a business owner to those that are involved. Then on top of it, it also becomes embezzlement and straight up fraud, because you're asking the people that are in the showcase to actually donate when it's really not a donatable, valuable portion of performance. What do I mean by that? Now, this is for any showcases that are established. If you're established in a way where most of the money that you are sponsoring and donating is going to, say, like Cancer Society or the foundation of this, or maybe you have created a trust fund or foundation, that then you'll be upfront and say that's what it is for. And that is what you're donating. And that's what the whole point of the showcase is. Because most conventions that are going to be so pricey the way that they are because they are benefiting to make the money for something other than themselves. And if they are doing it as a for-profit and they're only benefiting themselves, but they're asking you to donate, it is illegal tax fraud even. Because you can't write out something that is not deductible. So you have to make sure that your showcase is nonprofit, that it is a separate entity from the agency if you're going to do collaborations. And you must understand, I mean, this is what you got to do before you do anything. Most people get into business and they start businesses without having a plan. Unfortunately, it's a bad idea. You should always have a plan, your mission, your vision, objectives and goals, and then like how you're going to market it and all that. Now, some of that you might already know off the top of your head because you already have done it, but the part that you don't understand is the legality parts. And there is a such thing in your plan called risk management. What is that? That is what you need to know that are going to be risks before even starting business, and how are you going to make sure that that doesn't happen. So be very careful with that. Anyway, continuing on, it says you have won a lot of money or fantastic prizes in the lottery or sweepstakes. I'm not even going to continue with this. Then there's the dating and romance scams, computer hacking scams, online shopping, classified and auction scams. Let's read into this a little bit. Scammers like shopping online for victims, not getting what you paid for is a common scam targeting online shoppers. A scammer will sell a product and send a faulty or inferior quality item or nothing at all. They may also pretend to sell a product just to gather your credit card or bank account details. These scams can also be found on reputable online classified pages. An online auction scam involves a scammer claiming that you have a second chance to buy an item that you place a bid on because the winner has pulled out. The scammer will ask you to pay outside of the auction site's secure payment facility. If you do, your money will be lost and the auction site will not be able to help you. Then you have banking, credit card, and online account scams. Small business scams. Here's something to talk about. If you own a small business, you can be targeted by scams such as the issuing of fake bills for unwanted or unauthorized listings, advertisements, products, or services. A well-known example is where you receive a bill for a listing in a supposedly well-known business directory. Scammers trick you to sign up by disguising the offer as an outstanding invoice or a free entry, but with a hidden subscription agreement in the fine print. Scammers can also call your business pretending that a service or product has already been ordered and ask for payment over the phone. Job and employment scams. These scams involve offers to work from home or set up and invest in a business opportunity. Scammers promise a job, high salary, or large investment return following initial upfront payments. A good example of this is, unfortunately, I have to bring this up, is pyramid schemes. Would be a very good example of this. Now, a lot of them will turn around and try to use the healthy subjective saying, well, we cannot guarantee that you're going to get rich real quick, but it is a business and you know what you got to do with your business. Well, guess what? Here's the problem. This is a business where you're expecting, let's just imagine that the whole world heard about this and they were like, yes, let's do it. Who is left to buy? Now, of course, I am wishfully thinking when I say that the whole world would want to run right into it. Well, the one that it really benefits is the big guy at the very top, where he had 7 billion people paying several $100s, okay, to turn around and get nowhere with it. But then you're also going to have the same 7 billion people eventually saying there's nothing in this for me, and then they could give up. And a lot of these folks will turn around and act like they are your friend when you're signing up, and then when you decide not to do it, they wonder where you are and pretend as if you are nobody, because unfortunately you can't keep your small business. That's not true. I've started my small business right here, and I'm still pushing. I'm moving. I am real. I have landed a few of these schemes before, but I just, I take it one step at a time and just let it be. But it is very, very interesting, because now not only do they have upfront costs, but now they're starting this thing where they are going to accentuate a monthly payment to be sure that the guy at the top is actually going to be making real cuckoo bucks. They'll say, well, yeah, it's $300 now, but it's only going to be $60 a month. And they call it overhead. That's what they call it now. Overhead. Okay. Well, I could write it off on my taxes, you're saying. But if I'm not making nothing, what is there to write off? I'm just saying. All right. Here is a truth to that scenario, though. You could save your deductibles for, I think, up to 3 years, according to tax law, with one of my enrolled agents that had told me that. So if you do end up making some the next time, don't pretend like you just lost all that money. You didn't. You could still claim it for up to 3 years. On anything, that is. So if you're spending more money but made no money into the company, especially how bad 2020 has been, that is a scenario. Now, I'm going to have another video regarding SBA and all that, but what I really think they should target SBA on now is, instead of it being those who had made money in 2019, they need to focus on, okay, now we're far enough into the year, how much revenue actually got lost? And if you could actually prove that, then you should be able to have a substantial grant. Or maybe their PPP could be accentuated to that, because most companies, that way then you'll know the truth of it too. You will know, did businesses actually suffer a loss or did they not? But that's that. Anyway, these payments may be for business plan, training course, software, uniform, security clearance, taxes, or fees. These scams are often promoted through spam email or advertisements in well-known classifieds, including websites. Oh, and then we also have this one. This one I actually got hit with one time, and I'm in the middle of dealing with that. I'm going to actually give you a separate 30-minute video on this one. The golden opportunity and gambling scams. Now, these scams often begin with an unexpected phone call or email from a scammer offering a not-to-be-missed high return or guaranteed investment in shares, real estate, options, or foreign currency trading. Now, this is people that are out there legitimately trying to say, I know the way that you can make it in real estate, and then you get in there, you're paying, you could pay anywhere between a few $100 to a few $1,000, so maybe even upwards if you're really a big promotional scam artist. So you can have several thousands of dollars, like $50,000 to go for a 5-week schooling plan and flipping houses. Yeah, I have almost got caught up into that. And then I started realizing, well, what would it just cost for me to just go ahead and get my real estate license, save up some money, and know my real investment would be to flip a house. So then I started realizing it's just best that I go that way. Why do I need to go spending $50,000 to learn how to flip a house, and then I still got to get all that crap anyway? They're not helping you to get that. They're not going to take any of that $50,000 to go and help you get your license, to actually help you get your first property that they claim that you only need $10,000 for. See, I can even run the same type of deal, and it would be more legit. Why? But you would have to promise, you would have to follow me to realize the promise. I could literally charge you 6 months of schooling to flip home, charge you $75,000, but actually give you back $50,000 on your investment. And you would be asking me, well, why would I want to give you $75,000 to get back 50? The reason for that is so that I would know that you legitimately are going to be ready. And when I actually do this, it will be one-on-one, meaning that we're going to get the house together. And we're going to use the funding to actually flip the house. And I know that it would take 6 months or so to do it. Therefore, you can actually, don't listen to these jokesters that talk about, oh, you can get something done in a week. Because that's just a bunch of garbage. You can't even get your own license within a week, let alone actually flipping something in a week. So that's what I'm getting at. So continuing on, while it may seem convincing, in reality, the scammer will take your money and you will never receive the promised returns. No, you will not. Another scam promises to accurately predict the results of horse races, sports events, stock market movements, or lottery. So some of these also include online gambling sites. Scammers promise you huge returns based on past results and trends. In order to participate, you may be asked to pay for membership fee, special calculators, newsletter subscriptions, or computer software programs. And then the worst of them all is this: the charity and medical scams. Scammers are unscrupulous and take advantage of people who want to donate to a good cause or find an answer to a health problem. Charity scams involve scammers collecting money by pretending to work for a legitimate cause or charity and a fictitious one they have created. Now, let me explain something in this portion of this. They love to use psychology on people when it comes to these types of scams. They will do everything from saying, I have been the victim of this health problem, I've been the victim of that health problem. They may even take and put God in the center of it. If you're a religious individual, they will throw you a bone by saying, well, praise God that we were able to establish this relationship with the Heart Foundation. I have been a victim of heart disease for 25 years, and God had blessed me the healing from it. And I am no longer, and it could be just simply that they had a hypertension issue and they were at the hospital for that reason, and therefore never had it since then, and then would turn around and try to claim it as some big jointed distraction to make you water down your feelings. And because you're a believer of God, of course you're going to say, oh, what a blessing, what a blessing, here's $250. So I hope this bless you. And then you find out when you get the tax reports that you cannot even deduct it because there is no real actual thing that serves under this for you to be able to get a deduction. Or they might provide a deduction, but later on you find out, after you do real research, that this has never actually happened to the person, because the truth does come out eventually. Just let them keep talking, and you will see how the truth does come out. Often scammers will exploit a recent natural disaster or crisis that has been in the news. They may also play on your emotions. That's what I was trying to get at a minute ago, by claiming to collect for a cause that will secure your sympathy, for example, to help sick children. Medical scams offer a range of products and services that can appear to be legitimate alternative medicines, usually promising quick and effective remedies for serious medical conditions. The treatments are often promoted using false testimony from people who have been cured. And that could also be a big thing in what we need to find out when it comes to government. You have to know, did they legitimately have people signing up to take this remedy that shows that a vaccine would work? Or are you just going by word of mouth, and then you get 3 examples of people who already were cured, who have actually never taken a vaccine to even know if it was real? You know, all kinds of things. That's just an example of what a medical scam is. Now, I want to read to you an example of, I've already been giving you plenty of examples in the entertainment industry, but this is an actual story, and it goes such as like this. It's a story that sounds like a Hollywood movie. For several years, creative professionals in the entertainment industry, so think photographers, stunt people, actors, they have been lured to Indonesia on the promise of work from major Hollywood figures. Once there, they are tricked out of thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars, folks. The promised work never materializes. At the center of this deception is a mysterious figure known as the Con Queen of Hollywood. Well, on Monday, the FBI launched a new website for victims of the scam. Scott Johnson of The Hollywood Reporter first reported on the scheme, and he joins me now. So this is called The Story of a Scam That Lured Hollywood Professionals to Indonesia. This report was written a year ago, July 17, 2019, but I just wanted to give you the, and it's coming from NPR.org. So it is a reputable site. So it says, hey, Scott, and then Scott Johnson says, hi. Kelly is the other one. So describe how this scam works. Johnson says, yeah, so the victims will get an email from a well-known Hollywood person with what looks like a tantalizing job opportunity in Indonesia. They'll book a plane trip, usually get there, and once there, they'll be asked to start paying for ancillary services like driving, translating, things like that. Kelly. So tell me one story of one of the people you interviewed who had this happen to them. Johnson. Well, there was a freelance photographer I spoke to at some length who thought he was dealing with Amy Pascal, who was the former head of Sony and a very prominent Hollywood producer, and only later discovered that he'd been dealing with an imposter the whole time. Whoa. But in the course of the scam, he had spent tens and tens of thousands of dollars. So that was sort of one element of the betrayal. The other element was that a lot of the victims almost developed a kind of relationship with the con queen. Whoa. So there's a great deal of personal betrayal that involved here and psychological manipulation. And so the wounds that a lot of the victims feel are deep, quite deep, and in some cases very long lasting. Kelly. So I want to bring in the voice of the con queen because you managed to obtain 2 audio recordings of her speaking. These were from 2015 and 2016, and I should add we're calling her the con queen because investigators don't know who this is. Is that right? Johnson replies, right. There are right. There are accomplices who are on the ground in Jakarta, which is sort of the epicenter of where the fraud is taking place, because that's where the money is typically handed over. But there is one person at the center, and that person is still at large. Kelly, okay. So let's hear her. You've got 2 recordings. In the first one, she is rebuking the agent of one of the victims about a missed flight. Soundbite of archived recording. Unidentified person, con queen. To be very blunt with you, when I travel internationally, I use this number. It's registered 10 years ago, okay? Kelly. And then you have a second recording where she sounds totally different. Here she is deflecting questions about why she has been missing payments. Unidentified person, the con queen. I don't understand what you're talking about. Another makeup artist in Southeast Asia? Kelly. Scott Johnson, are we 100% sure this is the same person? Johnson. Nothing is 100%, but we are very, very sure, yes, that this is one person in the guise of multiple people. And we're talking more voices, more personas, more personalities, more accents. This is somebody who is exceptionally skilled at voice work and impersonation, accents, and particularly a kind of psychological artistry that involves you getting people to go along with what seems in many cases like a sort of improbable scenario. You know, job offers that are too good to be true. But the con queen has this ability to get people to go along with these things in a way that perhaps most people wouldn't. Kelly, what is the scale of this? How many victims are we talking about? Johnson, hundreds of victims at this point. And taken together, all these hundreds of victims and their several thousands dollars apiece adds up to a huge financial toll, and more importantly, I think a massive psychological toll for a huge segment of the population that is trying to make it in the creative industries, be they stunt people, hairdressers, up-and-coming directors, actors, and so forth. Kelly. Thank you, Scott Johnson. Thank you, Kelly. Scott Johnson of the Hollywood Reporter. Copyright 2019 NPR, all rights reserved. Visit our website, terms of use and permissions pages, and www.npr.org for further information. NPR transcripts are created on a rush deadline by Verbatim Incorporated, an NPR contractor, and produced using a proprietary transcription process developed with NPR. This text may not be in its final form and may be updated or revised in the future. Accuracy and availability may vary. The authoritative record of NPR's programming is the audio record. So, I want to finish this off by saying this is a 2-hour block of everything relating to scams, even beyond the entertainment industry. I find it very, very, very interesting. I think I'm going to do another video on the Better Business Bureau, the Council of Better Business Bureau accreditation process, because things are becoming a much stricter and they want to deal with real businesses. This topic is more or less about how scam artists are taking over people or other businesses or what have you. Then I also want to talk about examples of what is not scam-like but could almost seem like a scam, so that you could actually know the difference. There's going to be an hour block this evening for that special, because I want you guys to actually understand that not everything is a scam and that they do mean well. And until the next few minutes, Samuel Lombardo, Executive Director and CEO of SL Models and Talent Agency. Unleash the artists within and let your light shine.